I felt when I stepped into this industry that pre-construction are not getting enough credit. They're not getting the pre-construction managers are not getting the credit that they deserve to get. And the first time I felt that was when a pre-construction manager told me, when the construction on site goes perfectly with no issues, no one comes back to say thank you, pre-construction, for saving all those potential errors from happening. But when something wrong happens on the field, they know to go back to pre-construction and tell them, how did you miss that? So that was something that showed me how pre-construction is not getting enough credit. And what AI is doing, it allows pre-construction managers to do 10x more than what they can do with the resources that they have. And it makes pre-construction something that can no longer be ignored as a very important stage, or the most important stage, to be honest, in my opinion, at least, in construction.
I love what you're doing here. I get asked all the time by folks in the industry, like, who is doing AI for drawing review? Because doing AI for specifications or contract review, things like that, where it's all text, is one thing. Dealing with vectors and rooms and spatial things, like, my head's spinning about like the rule sets and like all of these. And again, I know there's some IP and stuff going on, but I guess like if I'm an estimator, help me understand, like, how am I using this tool? Is it just I give it the drawings and it does everything for me and finds it, or do I have to like create the rules of like what I want it to find? Yeah, like how interactive is that with the estimator?
So it's exactly as you described it in the drag and drop or input output environment. You just upload your drawings and automatically receive this dashboard that tells you what are the issues on your project. And I think that that's what separates AI solutions from traditional software solutions, that with AI, you can have this behavior of just like input output. I upload my drawings, I get this report, as opposed to doing a lot of this work by yourself.
Do they know what it's looking for? Like, is there any visibility into like what's being looked for, what's not being looked for? Just because I think that there's always that trust issue, right? Of like, if I'm fully going to rely on this, then I need to know it's going to be better than me, right? And I know that's anytime I talk to an estimator, that's always their concern. I'm sure you get it all the time. How do you respond to that?
No, 100%, because it's such a input output behavior. This is something that you need to learn how to trust, because it's not something you can alter or change or adapt. It's like ChatGPT. You ask a question, you get a response. So you need to learn to trust it, and that's a process, Nathan. It actually what we do in FIRMUS is every construction company who's starting to working with us, they are first trying it on 4 projects. So they're trying it 4 times. They usually do it in parallel to their manual review. They see what are the differences. And then once they are convinced they can trust it, they move to an annual agreement. And we just released the case study with Nibi Brothers. They are with us for a long time, since the beginning. And now we reach a point that they trust it more than a person reviewing it. When it says that it does something, it's covering 99%, right? It's covering everything. And another point that you raised there about the fact that identifying geometry is more complicated these days than text, because text is something that is now being very developed with ChatGPT, OpenAI, all of that. Identifying object is still very complicated. Identifying a toilet within a context of a drawing is still very complicated. And that's why we always have a set of checks that we do. And every time we add a check, we deliver that to the customer, they know exactly what is covered in FIRMUS and what are the checks that we're still working on.